when did you start preparing yourself mentally for becoming a head coach? Because just 9 days ago, you were a player. Was it something that you thought of before the season, thinking that this would be your last season, and start embracing that role?
No, honestly, Otis, I think preparing myself for this moment and being the head coach of an NBA basketball team is something that started at 6 years old. I played my first game of organized basketball when I was 6 years old. And although I was one of the better kids on that team, I have very rarely been the best player, the most talented, the tallest, the highest jumping, the best shooter on a basketball team. And so right away as a young person, I immediately had to start thinking about the game of basketball and how it was played and where I could find my advantages and how I could be most effective, even though I wasn't physically the most gifted or talented. And so for the last 33 years, that's the way I've always viewed the game. And in the last 18 years as an NBA player in this business, that's the only reason I've been around for 18 years, is that I've thought the game as a coach, the angles, the advantages, the disadvantages, the spacing, defensively, the best way to do things, especially as a guy that continued to age in this league. How can I defend and still be effective? So I very rarely put myself in a box in terms of saying this is the one thing that I wanted to do. But having an opportunity to be the head coach of the New York Knicks is an amazing opportunity, one I'm thankful for, and one I feel very prepared for, even though I haven't been a head coach in the past.
Derek, Bud Mishkin from New York One, congratulations.
Thank you.
Over the last few years as a player, have you paid any attention to the experiences of those former players who got into coaching quickly? Mark Jackson, Jason Kidd. Have you learned anything from those experiences? Have you spoken to them? Or do you plan on speaking to them to kind of get some notion of what they've been through?
Well, I've always been a student of the game and tried my best, even while playing, to pay attention to the trends around the league and what's happening. And for sure, I've been very aware of the success that the guys you mentioned have had in stepping from, whether it's broadcasting or finishing up playing last year as Jason did, and going right into being a head coach. It's been done before, where men that have not had head coaching experience go right into a head coaching job, and there's no guarantees for success or failure. You just have to work at it and figure it out. So I paid attention to that, and I feel like I can learn some things from those experiences those men have had, and I haven't spoken with them directly at this point. This was a process that was very fragile, and most of the time spent working with my family and talking to Phil and talking to Steve about how we could figure this out. But in the coming days and weeks, I'll spend a lot of time speaking with several former coaches, current coaches, mentors, leaders, as I try and prepare myself for this job, and obviously working internally here with our group to make sure we're giving ourselves every chance to be the best.
Howard Beck with Bleacher Report over here, Dick. Congrats, Fish. You, I know, had struggled with a number of different options, whether you were going to keep playing, whether you're going to take some time off, whether it was going to be coaching immediately. How big of an influence was just Phil's presence in all this, that if you were going to make this move, that it would start somewhere where you have yourself in his hands, and how do you see that relationship working with you as head coach and Phil kind of back behind you?
Yeah, Howard, I mean, there's no question that Phil's presence here, put me in a position where making a quicker decision about what would be next, for me and for my family and life, that was a huge part of it. Not just the idea of working together as basketball people and trying to make the team what it can be, but the idea that even if Phil and I did not have history together, the opportunity to work with and learn from one of the greatest basketball coaches and basketball minds that we've ever seen. As a basketball person, that's an opportunity that is worth pursuing, worth exploring. And so right away I had to consider that piece of it. And then the history of this organization and the New York Knicks not having lived on the East Coast or in New York before, but the opportunity to be a part of the fabric of this city after spending so much time in Los Angeles as a player and as a person, it was just great.